Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to my shop. This is the morning shop talk, if you know what I mean. Just letting you know, catching you up on where I'm at on some of this stuff. Still waiting on materials for everything, but I think I got. I'm gonna do a Prairie box. I did one about, I'm guessing 3 years ago. Pretty nice little old box. Keepsake box or whatnot. I'm making, so got some graduates graduating high school and whatnot, and I thought I would make some more boxes, and I thought y'all might be interested in what we're doing in the box. What I've done in Woodworker's Journal, y'all might have seen this. Okay, this is the August 2017 edition. That's where I got this and got the plan list, no problem. And it's pretty easy built once you get into it. But that's what I'm working on. Probably work on that today. Probably go to the store. It's raining about every day. That's one thing's hurting us. It is what it is, so you just gotta do it, so to speak. But I've got all the parts list right here. Got them all laid out here. I like it. That and this, I just barely, almost this, I gotta get on the shooting board. But everything else is dialed into the right measurement. So, yeah, so we're moving forward with the Prairie box. But everything else seems to be going. I got 444 subscribers now. I'm a little better than 47% of the way on the watch hours. Almost 45% on the subscribers. See, I get 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours in the previous 365 days. So that's where I'm at on all of that. So it's kind of rocking along. I'm just wondering if you can pick that up on the camera. Does that look good? It's actually 2 pieces of wood. But you can't hardly see the seam, but the color is just a little bit different. So I don't know. The pickings is kind of slim. I guess I need to go to where they sell the hardwood. Maple would have been pretty, but what I've got in here, my maple is so figured up, and I don't have the thickness. So these are 1.25 inches by inch, so I need some thickness. You don't want to laminate these. That wouldn't look right. But that wood needs to match the other wood. So I don't know. I may do one out of cherry and walnut. But I do have, see, I got the dark wood. It's the light wood. I'm having a Purple Heart. I was hoping to do one out of it. I like for it to be maple. So, I don't think that would be that bad. But my pickings are kind of getting slim on my oak. I still got some, but well, I'll tell you what I did with this, though. No, I did. Yeah, I did. This right here comes from a 4x4. It come out, let me show that to you. It come out of a 4x4. That was hollow and ductile iron pipe. It's the 4x4s that goes between the layers of ductile iron. Usually I can come up with it. I had a piece. I cut, see him right there? That's where the ductile irons was laying on these dark places. So I cut him off up there at the top, and you know, this is some of my stuff here. Begin to, I don't know, I need to look at it, but let me show y'all this. I needed to take a little off one of the boards. I don't know if y'all can see how thin it's 3/32 all the way down through there. 3/32. In other words, you get one side slick and you cut it 3/32, then it's veneer, and then you work this down when you got that. But that right there, come to think of it, I wonder if I can get, I don't know, I'll try to get there where y'all see it. Let me take a peek at it. I've got a see, this piece wasn't big enough to do it all, but that would have done it right there. However, no, it wouldn't have, because these things sides here gets tapered. I think it's 10 degrees taper. So you run through there and taper this, and so it never would work, no way. So that bandsaw is tuned up. I mean, that snotgrass feller, he knows how. I just went through his instructions and set that bandsaw up, and I can cut veneer with it. And let me show you one more thing about when we're talking about cutting veneer with that bandsaw. The bandsaw ain't nothing special, just a Rikon 14-inch. But I want y'all to see that blade. I keep that blade on it. I got a 1/2-inch blade, but it didn't pay me to switch it out. When I was going down through there, of course, I wasn't cutting veneer. I needed this much off, and I couldn't see making chips, if you know what I mean. So I just put it on the bandsaw, and as I'm going down through there, that gap wasn't varying. I said, check that out, and it's 3/32 all the way down through there. So I'm proud of that bandsaw, but it's all the way you set it up. You know what I mean? You get it set up correctly, boom, you got it. Oh yeah, mahogany. I'm just wondering. I don't know. I think the Purple Heart and the oak would be fine. I wished I had. At some point, I'm going to get me some lighter wood. Yeah, we just had to move forward. But I am probably going to work on that. But we'll probably load up and go to the store here in a minute. I'm going to get me a. I've decided to go away from the MDF. I've been wanting a. Actually, it's going to be a Rubo type. What I've always wanted to do is say, for instance, one side of the bench should be a Nicholson type, with the skirt and hold fast. Cause I got several hold fast, and buddy, I tell you what, them things work pretty good. Yeah, I just put that in my hand and I can't get it out. Wish I had some kind of zoom. So that need to make me a mallet. One of the videos is going to be a mallet. I turned this on a lathe. It's practice. It's a little too soft, But yeah, you don't want it real hard. You don't want metal hitting that. I mean, I never did. But I'm telling you what, yeah. So that is a good way. Hold fast. I mean, you pop that dude down there, it's fast. And I'm afraid that MDF, it'll wear them holes out. Because it's plywood, kind of doing it. But that's kind of, I'm going with pine. I am going with pine, and it's going to be a Rubo type. I thought about doing a Rubo on one side, a Nicholson on the other, but I'm putting a tool tray. I want that true, because when I'm working right here, that tool tray, I can see that being handy. Plus, if you put that tool tray on there correctly, and maybe plumb even with the top of the bench, it's going to be like 24 inches and then about an 8-inch tool well. Well, that's 24 plus 8 if you need to lay something on it. But so you need to get that. And so that's what I've got in mind. So I am looking forward to today. I think the rain might be over. So, thought I'd see what that looked like, covering that up. I don't know if y'all noticed I got that covered up. Tomorrow, I'm going to make myself a note. Tomorrow, I'm going to look at what the deal with the sponsors and how the corporate has brainwashed people. But if you go back, see, I'm old enough now that my grandfathers in that era, they went through the Depression. And this crap, these politicians, this crap that these big corporations are doing, that wouldn't fly with them. They didn't have to talk about it and organize and nothing. No, they just stopped buying. I mean, it just, you do right or you don't sell. And by those that work. But as time goes on, I was around and I was working. It was after school, but I was working when that first gas shortage happened. And I'm telling you, there was no gas shortage. It was man-made. And the corporations took over. I will talk to you about that. I want to make myself a note. I'll talk to you about that tomorrow. It's too late. People are brainwashed. But I'm telling you that this corporations, whenever the customer don't mean anything, it's too far. It's gone too far. But I will see you tomorrow. I'm afraid I'll get too pissed today, and I might too tomorrow, but it's not right what they're doing. And I'm thinking, I'll tell you about it tomorrow. I will. That thing is crooked. But I'll tell you about it tomorrow, and then and see what you think. And then we'll go from there. Because these corporations are not doing you right. No. Now the smaller ones, I'm talking about the big ones. The forefathers put in monopoly laws for a reason, and they're ignoring them. So I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Y'all have a wonderful day. Maybe the rain's over. Bye. See, you can't count on it. It don't work every time. See, these manufacturers are putting out junk. You know, it doesn't take that much more to do it right. But all they want to do is make it cheap. You know, these things aren't stuff like this and aren't designed to last very long. And from that first gas war or gas shortage, they figured that out. So now they got engineers that went to school, spent tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars or whatever, because that's another thing. It's some kind of whack in order to design something where it will only last 5 years. But this other stuff, the cheaper stuff, we want it to last just a few times of operation. They have to come out and buy another. And if it was my grandfather's time, they quit buying them, they would go out of business. If a gas station was 1 penny higher, nobody bought gas from them. They come down. Because if you don't, and everybody's buying the gas whether they're cheaper or not, well, the ones that are cheaper, well, I'm going to go up there, you know. And 1 penny makes a difference. Oh, it's not worth 5 cents to go across the street. Yes, it is. Everybody needs to do it. It is worth it. Because what will happen if the guy's 5 cents higher and he is selling no gas whatsoever, he will drop his price. I guarantee it. Just think about it a minute. See there, I get ranting and raving over how they're doing this. And here we go. But I will see you tomorrow. Y'all have a wonderful day.